The new Black Clover chapter has finally shown Asta's awakening. I will explain what exactly this means for Asta's new power. Let's talk about it. If you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. Please enjoy this video. Let's go! The new chapter 348 begins with Sister Lily being surprised that Asta is in the land of the rising sun, and this is a very important clue to understand what happened when Sister Lily attacked, or rather tried to kill Asta at the beginning of the arc. There were always two possibilities. Either Sister Lily knew that Asta was sent to the land of the rising sun, which would mean that Lucius and Rio are most likely working together. Or she didn't know about it, which means that Lucius most likely doesn't know about it either. And with that, Lucius and Rio are most likely not working together. Which fits perfect with my latest opinion about Rio, that he's most likely not evil. If you want to know more about this, be sure to check out this video here, which explains how Rio could have been in contact with Asta's father, who I believe could be the time devil Astaroth. The link is in the comments. Unless Astaroth in Black Clover is female, as often described in demonology, where he calls himself the female Astarte, who in Greek mythology is the goddess of love, and is believed to be like Virgin Mary. This, by the way, will fit perfectly with the celestial maiden in the land of the rising sun, who saved the land by defeating the five-headed dragon. And if you want to know more about this, check out this video here. Both videos are linked in the comments. Theoretically, then there's the possibility that Astaroth, if female, is also the celestial maiden, because the word maiden could be used to describe a female virgin, which is what Astaroth is in Greek mythology. Furthermore, Astaroth also rides a dragon. And in the Japanese story about Zetten and the dragon of Enoshima, which is the reference for the dragon in Black Clover, the dragon is also not evil and belongs to the celestial maiden, just like Astaroth has a dragon. So it makes a lot of sense if it turns out to be true. And with this, there's again the possibility that Rio could be in contact with Astaroth, whether Astaroth is a he or she, and thus could have received his eye from Astaroth. Also, one must know that although it is now more or less proven that Rio did not work together with Lucius, Lucius was nevertheless actively responsible for Asta's survival. He put a very precise cut on Asta's chest and led him alive, although he could have defeated him for good with ease. He ordered Beelzebub Lily to finish Asta for yet unknown reasons. That just doesn't make sense unless Lucius knew what was going to happen to Asta, and it's all part of his plan, or he expected something specific to happen. Maybe someone intervened in his plan and saved Asta. The point is that Lucius was actively involved in Asta's survival, so there must be a reason for that. This is the only remaining clue that Lucius might actually be working with Rio, although not even his paladins know about it. But as I said, the ultimate proof is missing. So much for that. Now that we know that Sister Lily did not send Asta to the land of the rising sun, the question is, who did? If it wasn't Lucius or Sister Lily, it must be someone else who most likely either hasn't been introduced to Black Clover yet or is already dead. Because nobody we know will fit to this mysterious person. It doesn't have to be someone with spatial magic, but that person must have been in contact with the land of the rising sun in the past, that's for sure. And of course, this person must have some connection to Asta. It could be the real Sister Lily who used her last power to save Asta by managing to control Beelzebub's magic. In this case, it could be that Sister Lily is related to Asta in some way. If it wasn't Sister Lily, then it's really complicated. But this is my idea. The person who hid Asta's grimoire must logically have hidden Asta's sword as well. It is not unlikely that this person also hid the wind spirit in the dungeon, since both things were in the same place. Since the wind spirit spell was written on a scroll, this suggests a connection to the land of the rising sun, which could explain why the same person was responsible for teleporting Asta to the land of the rising sun due to a spell placed on Asta 18 years ago. Since a time magic spell was activated in the dungeon that allowed Yuno to save Asta, I assume it was Astaroth who prepared all this for Asta and Yuno, and thus is probably responsible for Asta and Yuno growing up together. He may not have had control over where Yuno was given away, but if Astaroth is Asta's parent, he could have used this time magic to determine where Yuno will grow up. and made sure that Asta was given away to the same church as Yuna at the same time. As I said, this is only possible if Astaroth is either male, and thus Asta's father, who told Licita where Asta should be dropped off, or if Astaroth is female, as is often described in demonology, and thus is most likely Licita, who represents the Virgin Astarte, who's like the Virgin Mary, thus may have created Asta without a father, only with the absorption of mana and life force. In this case, Astaroth could also be the Celestial Maiden, from the legend of the Land of the Rising Sun, due to the meaning of maiden and the connection to a dragon that Astaroth also has in demonology. In both cases, Astaroth is associated with the Land of the Rising Sun and thus could possibly have given Ryu the all-seeing eye that Asta might one day receive. Hence the spell that teleports Asta to the Land of the Rising Sun. As I said, both theories, Father Roth and Mother Roth, are linked in the comments. Back to the chapter. This dude, who according to his grimoire is definitely not Raids, says that humans are weak, and then makes fun of the Risen, who are supposed to be the strongest in the whole country, but in his eyes are nothing more than just pathetic. He then uses his ability against Asta to find out what Asta fears the most, and to his surprise, it is Asta himself. Not the newly awakened Asta, but the depressed one we saw a few chapters ago. This illusion starts saying things like, I can't become the Wizard King, I'm not as talented as Yuna, and so on and so forth. All the other things Asta has been saying in the last few chapters. His greatest fear is being weak, which is also his greatest weakness that has kept him from becoming strong. This was especially important for the Zetten training, as confidence is the essence of a successful Zetten technique, as was explained a few chapters ago. Asta cuts the manifestation of his greatest fear, symbolizing that Asta has finally mastered the Zetten technique. At least the basic, he just needs to be able to execute it perfectly. As strong as it was told in the legends, where the inventor of this technique split the sky in half. Asta will do just that at some point, perhaps very soon. I expect this to happen in front of the people of the Land of the Rising Sun, because only to them will this have any meaning, so be prepared for that to happen in the next few chapters. This dude who looks like Reyes wants to finish Asta off, but Asta just cuts him without any problems. Before he cut him, he said, I can see it, meaning that Asta has developed the ability to see the moment when the attack must take place. This is the moment when Zetten must be executed. It is the opening that was often mentioned in the training chapters. And then something interesting happened, which as always will reveal its true meaning only with the official translation on Sunday. Ichika says something like that the opponent's Yoryoku, that is his magic power, has changed, or rather has returned, ? What did she mean by that? Yasuga says that Asta simply took away his powers. So obviously this has something to do with anti-magic. If I hadn't seen Sister Lily in her basic form, which didn't look like a paladin at that moment, I would have said that Asta's anti-magic was able to reverse the paladin's spell and turn that person back into a human. However, it is not quite that simple. If we think about the basic idea of how the paladin spell works, and consider the difference between the paladin spell and the elf reincarnation, then we must conclude that Asta's anti-magic may be useless. The elf reincarnation was based on two souls sharing one body because of an active spell, while the elf soul replaced the human soul by putting it to sleep. Asta's anti-magic was thus able to dissolve the spell, which released the elf soul and woke up the human. However, in the case of the paladins, there isn't any active spell. Both the humans and the devil's soul were altered. It seems, although not confirmed, that both souls, the human and the purified devil soul, were merged into a completely new soul, which explains why, for example, Sister Lily has all her old behaviors and memories. So I think that Asta can't just reverse this spell like that, but in this case just reverse the transformation, similar to what he did with Nacht in the Faust family basement. So this dude is probably just back to his basic form like we have seen with Sister Lily, without wings and without halo. We will find out in the next chapters. What do you think of this new Black Clover chapter? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, please leave a like, it really helps me a lot. If you want to see more Black Clover content, theories and chapter reviews, then subscribe to this channel. I make weekly Black Clover content. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye!